Everybody, guess what? It's time for another fascinating Rickenbacker video. First, it's not pink. There's pink here. There's pink here. There's one missing because it's in a gig bag getting ready to travel with me tomorrow. And of course, there's pink right here. So we're going to talk about this amazing, crazy cool vintage bass. This is a 1964 Rose Morris RM export model, 1999 bass. Now, you may say, oh, that's a 4001. No, it's not a 4001S either. It's an RM 1999. For those of you who are into Rickenbacker, whatever, history, these are the export models that Rick sent to Europe. They were imported by the Rose Morris Company. You can read lots about it online. All right. This bass has a very illustrious history. As you can see, it's black. Well, wasn't always black. If I had to make a guess, I would say this thing started out Fireglow. You know, kind of like the 68 over here, started out Fireglow. This bass has gone through so many modifications, adjustments, tweaks, vibes, changes. It's unbelievable. And here it is in one piece. So let's talk about the changes, and then we're going to get into playing it some more and doing all this. Let me start this off by saying we're doing this one a little bit different. I'm playing through some different stuff this time. I was asked specifically by request to try something different with this bass. So instead of my usual run through the Doug Pinnick pedal, which I love, by the way, thank you Tech21, you guys, and Doug, we're going to use something a little more traditional just because of this one. So we're using the Ampeg Scrambler DI. I know a lot of you know about it. Some of you have them. We're going to use the Scrambler circuit, and then I'm going to punch in the SVT circuit so we can hear the bass and just see what it does. Okay, let's talk about the bass itself. Now, as I said, this is an RM 1999. So one of the first things you will see here for you Rick heads, square heel. Somebody, when I posted a picture of this online, somebody said, oh, that's a refinished Chris Squire signature limited edition blah, blah, blah bass. Wrong. This is the real thing. If you want to know how it's the real thing, look at the serial number. This serial number starts with the letter D. Okay. For those of you who don't know what that is, if you look up again, Rickenbacker history, the letters on the jack plates on the original instruments were the year and month in letters, and then the production number underneath that on the plate. So to go with the plate, this is a mono bass. This is how they came out when they were not a 4001, when they were a 1999. Oops. We hit the microphone. Oh, darn. So bottom line here, this is a real one. We're going to talk about a couple more things here besides the square heel. Okay, let's take a look at this headstock. Okay, this headstock should look familiar. And yes, it's painted white in the middle. We're going to talk about that in a second. As I said earlier, this guitar has a massive history of performance live. Has a crazy history even before that none of us, including the owner of this bass, even know. So let's start there. Okay. First, when the owner of this instrument purchased it back in 1983, there's your provenance, for those of you who are thinking it's a reissue, it was 57 Chevy blue. And I don't mean just blue, I mean blue. He said when he first got it, he had to strip the blue off the fingerboard, he had to strip the blue off the headstock, strip the blue off the entire thing. It was really something to look at. Oddly enough, he doesn't have a picture of it like that. There is one of him playing it with it blue. But that brings me to the next part of the story, which is quite an adventure unto itself. Let's go back to the headstock. Okay? Yes, the headstock has a white line around. But here's even something crazier about this bass. This is not the original headstock. The story goes this bass was being used by its current owner on stage, and the strings suddenly went floppy. And as soon as they went floppy, he stopped and looked, and the headstock had broken off. It didn't get banged, didn't get beat up, didn't get destroyed. It just broke. So it's hard to see in the camera, but in here is a scarf joint. And if you run your hands up and down this, you cannot feel it. You can't even tell unless you really look at the wood. The person who recreated this headstock did an amazing job. I haven't seen lutherie like this in a long time. So you can't tell that it's broken. You can't tell that it was repaired. And actually the scarf joint stops right about here. It literally starts diving into the wood, connecting here, and it goes all the way to here. So before any of you ask, that's the story. Okay. On this thing, what is original is the tuners are the 64 tuners. The jack plate is the correct one because it is the one that tells you how old it is. Bridge is original, the tailpiece I mean, the cast tailpiece with the groove. Other than that, much of the other stuff on this thing has been changed. These pickups and this truss rod cover came from a 1973 April base. They were swapped out many years ago because when the previous person had painted it, they got rid of all the stuff. So it didn't have the 64 guts. Okay, just clear that up right now. So yes, as I said earlier, a very illustrious history. It has gone through quite a few mods for obvious reasons. But you know what's crazy? Everything on here, barring the pickguard, is stock Rickenbacker for the year, for the time, for the era. Okay, so again, the pickups from a 73. Now, along with the 68 over here, as you all remember from the last video, the knobs are here, the pots are here, but they're not hooked up. So that means that we're toggle switching our way through. Okay, so the owner made a pickguard just like he did for that one. Same material, same, it's perfect. It actually is more stronger than a real original pickguard would be, because those would be really the plastic that you see through. So we're going to play this, and we're going to run with the toggle switch up and down like we did last time, and I'll mess with the pedal, turn it on and off, so you can hear the bass by itself. At this point, it currently has roto sounds on it, and these are pretty hefty. My suggestion would be for someone who's into this bass, you probably want to put light gauge strings on it, level the neck. It would lay right down in the midst in the pocket. But for now, it's got rotos on it, so they're pretty strong, and this is the one-piece original neck. Okay, so with all the dissertation, let's play the bass. So we're going to start up top. We're going to use the front pickup. Okay, so that's the front pickup with the scrambler on. Let's try the back pickup. Now, somebody also told me, the owner actually said to me, he said, if you're going to play with the back pickup, okay, so I used a pick. We're going to set that right there. Okay. Yeah, you know who asked for this. Yep, you got it. Okay, there it is. So the midsection, if we want to do it again, if we want to do that whole thing. I'm not a pick guy. Who said you can't slap a Rick? Even with the pickup right there. All right, so. Okay, so that's what it sounds like with the scrambler piece on. Now, let's turn that off. Let's turn on our little buddy here. It sounds like the SVT. Okay, so that's middle pickup, both of them on with the SVT setting on the preamp. Okay, same thing, front pickup. Okay, back pickup. Same idea, both pickups. Okay, how's that? Now, for the last thing, what we're going to do, we'll turn all the knobs off. Click, 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 it's off. Now, this is just the bass by itself, with no effects, nothing, just like we did the 68. Okay, front pickup, back pickup. So that's what the bass sounds like without anything on it. Now, I want to make this very clear, just so you all understand. This one and the 68, and there are about 3 more going to show up, are all available for sale. If you're interested, reach out. I've had a few people ask specifically about this one because you don't find 64 Ricks anywhere. Very simple. So if you have questions about this one, if you have questions about that one, feel free to ask, put them in the comments, share. Let's talk about it, because these are actually really cool. If you've never played a Rick this old, you're in for a treat, because these are nothing like the new ones. The new ones are a completely different animal compared to these. And when you play one of these, it's very hard, in my opinion. No offense to anyone, company or other. It is very difficult, in my opinion, to play the new ones after playing the old ones, because they are night and day difference. Anyway, with all that said, feel free to share, comment, talk, scream, squall, cry, whatever the case may be, in the comments. And if you have questions about this one or the 68, feel free to hit me up. Otherwise, let's put the scrambler back on with the SVT setting, and let's see what it does as we play our way out. As always, play more bass. It's always a pleasure to see all of your smiling faces and your fingers flying on strings. Until next time.